Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in beautiful San Diego, California, where it's 80 something this afternoon. Not sure what, it keeps going up and down, but it's been beautiful here, quite warm in the afternoon, but really cool overnight, which I really appreciate because I like it when it's cool at night and cools down the house and everything. Just trying to see if we're making it on today. Yes, yay, yay, yay. So say hi, whoever's here, so that I know who's here and where you are coming from and what your weather is like today. It's just so nice out. So nice out. Getting my vegetable garden starting to produce. I got a couple little baby tomatoes out of it today, so that was pretty special and a nice reward for doing some yard work. So, bunch of announcements. First is something brand new that I just got an email about 5 minutes ago. July 9th through 11th, so that would be Wednesday through Friday of this week. All two-tone cardstock is going to be 20% off. And if you haven't tried the two-tone cardstock, what makes it really fun is, number one, the two tones, kind of like a light and dark like you get with your blends. But number two, the fact that it has a white core. So that means like when you tear it, you see a little white along the edge, which is kind of cool for just effects. I've been using it as put it in an embossing folder and then sand it down, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. And you can buy the two-tone cardstock as all one of any of the 50-something colors. So you get a whole package of the same color, or what I've done is bought a couple of the ones that have like several different colors in them. So for instance, the B online exclusive has a two-tone cardstock set that has some of all the different colors that are in that paper. So that's one way to kind of just get a little sampling, which is what I wanted to do. And you always get at least two of the different colors. Two pages of each of the colors. Then you can see what you use a lot. Or if you know, for instance, oh, I just use a ton of petal pink, buy the whole thing. They're 12 by 12, by the way. Okay, number two, our Paper Craft Collective this month. If you buy, I'm one of the designers on this group of demonstrators. We've got 7 of us. We each design a card using a specific stamp set or bundle each month, and anybody who buys $50 from any one of us gets 7 video tutorials, using 7 different video tutorials, one from each of us, using these products. And that way you really get a sense, first of all, of different styles, but also different ways to use the same stamp set or bundle. So this month of July, if anybody buys $50 from me, they get 7 video tutorials using either the Sweet Jar or the Jar of Joy. And so this is my card, and you can see I used the new Jar of Joy with a little snowman there. And so get shopping, guys. What else is new? Oasis class I have coming up this Monday and then the following Monday. And the reason it's a two-parter is we're going to make this beautiful 12 by 12 sampler. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. Let's move it back. That to me just says summer in San Diego. And if you want a can't make it to San Diego and you would like the PDF on how to make that, just let me know. I'm selling that for, I think it's $25. Okay, so other thing is there are a whole bunch of new online exclusives, one of them being that Jar of Joy that I was just showing you that card with. And you just got to go on and check them out. There's a big variety, from a Halloween suite to Christmas stuff to There's a new Jewish holidays stamp set. It's just a whole bunch of different stuff. And there's 2 new kits this month. One's a birthday kit, and one is a Halloween like treat kit. So again, find those online. And what else? Oh, okay, let me put you down because I want to show you these stamp sets. So these are the 2 stamp sets I was talking about with the jars. We're not using them today, but I just wanted to point out that this sweet jar that comes in a bundle with the jar punch is an online exclusive, and then this is a new online exclusive, the Jar of Joy, which is what I used to make this card for my Papercraft Collective. And my upline and I, Peggy Noe, are about to launch a Christmas in July mini retreat featuring the Jar of Joy as well as the Jolly Holly bundle. And I'll show you, we are each making 4 cards, 2 each of these, so there'll be 8 cards in this little mini retreat. You can do it online, or we're going to have an actual in-person card class also, probably at my house. And I'll show you real quick sneak peek of one of the cards that I made using the Jar of Joy. And the reason I'm showing you this also is because this is the 2-tone pecan pie cardstock that I ran through with the Holly Jolly embossing folder. And then I used a little sanding block to sand this a little bit, and so you can see the white peeking through where I've sanded it. So that's why I wanted to show you that. All right, moving along. Hey Roz, hey Sally, oh Linda, you're watching, yay, hey Nita, and my girl's watching, hi Karina, that's my daughter, everybody. So that must mean that my grandson is taking a nap right now. All right, so what we are doing today is we are using the Inspiring Imperfections bundle, and this is part of the Kintsugi Inspirations suite. Now these things have been on back order for a while. The dies, and I don't even have these 2 yet because they were in back order when I ordered it. But I just got so excited I had to show you guys this. But the dies and the little flower embellishments are supposed to be back in this week and next week, and this is already back in. The thing that's really cool about this, that kintsugi means it's a Japanese art form of fixing broken pottery using gold. And the idea is you can fix imperfections and kind of move on, and you've got created kind of something new, whole again. And I just thought that was just a really cool idea to embrace. So I'm hoping I have everything for this. We're going to be making 2 cards today. Here's our first card. Oh, actually, I know what I wanted to show you before we did that. Is the paper. The paper is just so beautiful. So, oh, kind of forgot to get it all out earlier. But the paper has beautiful colors. It has basic beige, cloud cover, lost lagoon, misty moonlight, old olive, petal pink, and gold. So it's a specialty paper. So you can see one side of each of these, there's your petal pink, has gold. And you can use the dies to cut out these, use them for backgrounds. Oh, that's the same one. We're going to be using this one today. I love how it's like a patchwork of all of them. Pretty with the cloud cover on the back. The thing that's really cool about this piece, and we're going to be using pieces from this, is all of these pieces can be cut out with the dies. So you've got that one, you've got the little cup, and you've got the flowers. All of these can be cut from the dies. And so I've actually been cutting a lot of these out. And I just make a little cut down like this and then just start running them through. This one should have another side, yep, that has the gold in it. One more gold one, but the paper is just gorgeous. Even the back is gorgeous. Okay, so we're gonna learn a few little techniques on this card today. So a lot of people have been doing these cards where you tear, and if I had two-tone cardstock and I had torn these, then the little bit of edges that is torn would be white. So that would be a cool effect on here too, and would go really well. All right, so the first thing we do is we have an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of petal pink with a score at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that in half. And then what we're gonna do is we have this piece of Misty Moonlight that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have that gorgeous piece that's kind of the patchwork, and that's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So you can see it's kind of just fitting in on the inside of that. And we're gonna attach that. And really make sure your, little teeny borders around the edges are gonna work. Okay, and then the next thing we have is 3 7/8 by 2 3/4 piece of both the Misty Moonlight and the cloud cover. And what we're going to do is tear them both together. It's really important that you do this together in approximately in half. And when you notice when you tear towards you, hopefully you can see that, you've got the little frayed edges. I'm going to intentionally kind of make it go up and then make it go down so it's not perfectly even. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue them together like that and then glue them on. And then we're going to glue the bottom one, same thing, with this coming up like that, and glue that on down here. Isn't that cool looking? It's such a cool effect. So I've heard this being called like a fault line card. But now you see why it's so important that you tear these together. Even with tearing them together, it's interesting how they still manage to not be 100% mirror images, but that's probably my fault. All right, just make sure edges line up. And now you can see why you don't, oops, that didn't work so well. There we go. Why you don't need a full piece of this to be covering it. Got a little of that sticking out. Again, trying to make sure the two sides are even, which they weren't. This is why I love glue. I love using the glue because you can kind of, whoops, slide it like that. That got a little too slidey, don't you think? Just trying to make sure that the two edges line up. There we go. And then get some more glue on everything else. And I should have stamped this before, but I guess we're living dangerously today. So we are going to stamp down on here. And the whole full thing says, I can't even read it. Thanks for helping me through this difficult time, but I decided I just wanted it to say thanks. And we're going to be using this a couple times. I've got a Misty Moonlight Stampin' Right marker. I'm using the, can you see that? The edge that has the kind of painted thing, and just kind of rubbing it along the sides. Now, they're pretty much another way to do this if you just want to use, like I am, part of the stamp. And the other way of doing this would be to basically tape off this and stamp it into the ink and then remove the tape before you stamp it. Okay, now I'm going to huff on this. Just get it a little wetter. And now we've got just the thanks. Okay, so now we can put that on our card. There we go. And then for the, I cut a couple of these out from the paper. Remember I showed you how they all could cut out. Magic that it's already done. But then I also want to show you a little trick, same sort of kind of coloring technique that we used to make that thanks. And that is, again, using our Stampin' Right markers. We have a stamp that has that same flower on it. And what we're going to do, wait, let's put that back on, is we're basically going to try to make this flower ourselves. Again, using the Stampin' Right markers. And whoops, I like to start with the lighter one first. So we got our petal pink up here. And we are going to just, again, use the side. The hard part about using this petal pink, I found, is that it's really hard to see on, that you got it inked up. So I ended up going back and forth kind of a million times just to make sure that it got itself inked up. Even I'm intentionally putting it over this white, and I still can't totally tell. But it worked last time, so I'm going to have faith that it'll work again. And then we've got our Lost Lagoon for the stem and leaves. That one, at least you can see that you're getting it on here. And again, we're going to just huff on it. And there we go. The other alternative, again, is you could take this, tape off that, stamp, just, or Post-it note or something like that, and stamp it in your petal pink up here, and then take that off and put it in. And you know what? I think we'll try that just to see, just to show you. Let's get that. Where's my Lost Lagoon? Oh, I don't think I have Lost Lagoon. Well, we'll use the Misty Moonlight because I'm not sure where my Lost Lagoon is right now. I'll just get a scratch piece out and show you the alternative way to do this if you don't have the markers here. So what you would do is you would ink up the lighter color first. So you've got the petal pink all inked up on just that top part. And then you take your darker one, which would be your either Lost Lagoon. I don't know where I did put my Lost Lagoon. Oh wait, I have Lost Lagoon. Here it is. And then again, just try to get the edges of that. And you can see you're going to get a little bit more on places that you didn't want it, but kind of a similar effect, don't you think? So that's just two ways to change things up a bit. So let's put that on the inside. And then I did, like I said, I didn't have any of those little accents yet. So what we could use, though, is we could use something else with gold. So I have the low profile dots, and they have a little bit of gold in them. So we could try to see how those would work. Whoops, I thought I pulled one up. So that will give you just a little bit more bling going on here. So what do you think? There's our first card. There's the other one. I do kind of like it with the bling on there though. What do you guys think? The bling adds a little bit. All right, so second card is a fun fold card. And here's our, whoops, get out of there. You're not getting used yet. So this is our fun fold card. And opens up like that. All right, so you ready for that one? Card number 2. All right, so card number 2, oops, just get all this stuff out, is starting with a piece of petal pink that is 4 1/4 by 11. So that's your, usual other way of cutting a piece in half. And then what we're going to do is cut this down to 8 1/2. So I'm going to need my little bar out here. Whoa, I don't have enough room. We're going to cut that down to 8 1/2. We're going to use that piece, so we're not going to get rid of it. And then we are going to score this 1 1/2 inches from each of the ends. So 1 1/2 from this side. Turn it around. 1 1/2 on this side. I find when I'm doing the same on both sides, this is a just easier way to remember what I'm doing as opposed to, 1 1/2 and then whatever the extra is. And then we're going to fold these down. And then this is the one that's going to go like that. So then we've got several pieces. So this is 4 by 1 1/4 that are going to go top and bottom there. I know this is one of those pieces where it's like, oh, but it's so hard to cover up that beautiful gold and everything. But don't worry, we're using the other side too. So that made me feel better. Come on. Hi, Peggy. Good to see you here. All right, so this is just our little piece that we cut off, right? And that is 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. So we've got the other, whoops, that's too big. So this is 4 by, it should be 2. I think it's 2 1/4. Yep. So let's cut that down. Oh no, it's 2 1/2. So this does need to be 2 1/4. But I got it a little too big. There we go. So let's put that on here. Whoops. All right. And now remember on this one, you want to be able to open it up. So you're only going to put some dimensionals on the top of that to put it on. But let's, I guess, finish the rest of this first before we do that. Okay, so I did cut from some gold foil a couple of these pretty little, I don't know what you call them. I mean, they're the, you know, if you were doing the little kintsugi thing, you would be, you know, this would be what's helping stick your stuff together. And if I was smart, I would have put this on some adhesive sheets, but I didn't, so we just got little teeny pieces of the littlest amount of glue you can get on here. You really don't need a lot. So just couple little dots in key places. All right. And then, now I gotta search because there's too much stuff on my desk for those. Somewhere on here should be 2 vases, but I'm not seeing them, so I know I cut a whole bunch of these out the other day. So let's just dump all these vases and find some. Good thing I cut a whole bunch of these out. Didn't want to bring the green in, but we could bring the turquoise. And I think I was going to use another white one. Or, well, we'll make it similar. The blue one. Looks like I didn't do a very good job cutting that one out, so sometimes you just get to help it along a little bit. See what I mean by I cut a whole ton of these out, so I've got vases for days. Oh, I could also do it this way. Here's another alternative. We could do it like that. Which do you guys like better? The blue and pink, or going back to the cream and the blue? Okay, need a vote here. Blue and pink, or blue and, I guess that's basic beige. All right, I'm going to wait for a vote to put them on there. But what we can do is attach this, and you're just going to want to attach it across the top. Somebody needs to vote. I don't see anybody telling me which they like the best. And you do want to kind of put this more over to the side. And again, then you'll be able to open it like that. This is for our inside, but before we glue that on, we're going to want to stamp. Now, I want to stamp it this time before I glue it all down, but I also want to make sure I'm stamping where you're going to be able to see that, okay? And it says, "You inspire me." So we're going to stamp that in Misty Moonlight. That didn't get. You inspire me. right. Got a little thick there. Hopefully you can read it still. I think next time I use these, when I'm using the words, I will put it on a piercing mat. Most of the time I do fine with just on my glass mat, but sometimes words like it better the other way. All right, my girl will do the blue and pink. Thank you for voting there. And then this is another one of those that we cut out. Again, we could have stamped it, but I had cut out so many of these. All right, so blue and pink it is. There's our pretty blue vase. Karina, doesn't this vase look like something we would have in our house? Maybe that's why I like this. We have a lot of Asian art in our house, and that's, I think, one of the reasons I really like this whole set. I'm gonna put a few dimensionals on the little, to me it kind of looks like a teacup, but it could be a bowl. There we go. We got a lot of these little pieces left behind. So there's the one with the white, and there's the one with the pink. I like them both. Very pretty. Let's bring back our other two from earlier. I'm gonna have to get some bling on this one because I do like that bling on there. So do you have a favorite of these two different cards that we made today? I just kind of decided we had time to do both because neither of them were very hard or time consuming, but I just think they're so beautiful. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put you back up and say I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next Monday. Take care. Bye.